Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. Brothers and sisters, we hope you all are well and will be better. If you can hear me, and if you are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If you can hear me and you are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Brothers and sisters, we do not profess to know everything, and we are open to constructive criticism. All right? So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, this is being presented basically on 2 channels for 2 reasons. One, more than Yeshaya Hebrew lessons because we're going over Hebrew, and more than Yeshaya Torah lessons because the Hebrew we're going over is found in the Torah. So, brothers and sisters, get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes. We're going to stop the camera, brothers and sisters. And thank you, my love, for typing in the number 4 in that regard. We're going to go here to the present part, if we will, and go to share screen, if we will, right? And we're going to pull the PowerPoint up here in this case, right? And we hope and pray again that everybody is well and will be better. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, let us get started in this particular case. All right? Let us get started. Shalom. We're going to start with the slideshow. Go here from the beginning. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 13. Hebrew understanding. Shalom. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. This presentation is presented to you all from Danite Publications. We hope and pray that you are well and will be better. We ask you all to please get your pens and pads. All right. So let us get into this, brothers and sisters. The Hebrew of the verse. All right. We're going to look at this from the laser pointer. Shalom, my love, Sarah Michaela, and thank you for your help. Shalom, Ak, Yirmiyahu, Yisrael, and everybody else in the chat. Thank you for your support in this particular case. I want to turn down this part on my end, if we will, brothers and sisters. All right, so let's go over the Hebrew here. Remembering, Hebrew is always read, brothers and sisters, from right to left. Ata kumu with Hebrew lachem et nakal zared wa na'abor et nakal zared. Now, certain things Israelites might be able to pick up upon real quickly. And one of the things that I would think, if you're familiar with camps or not, is the word we see here, kumu, which means stand up or rise up. All right, and we're going to go over that. You might be again familiar as an Israelite with the word Hebrew, from the word abar, which means to cross over. Where you get, brothers and sisters, Hebrew from. Because Ibrit is how you say Hebrew, the language itself. And Ibri is how you say a Hebrew as a person. All right? So we want to point this out, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. Also, when you're presenting yourself to people, You have to, brothers and sisters, make yourself teachable. Though you're called the more, though you're called a teacher in certain cases. You have sadly, say, some brothers or sisters who feel away, or don't try to correct me in front of other people. No, correct me. Let me know how I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with asking somebody, even old school style. Give me an E, a G, an S, an N, or a U. Excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement, or unsatisfactory, if we will, brothers and sisters. And I say this, brothers and sisters, to the family at large. Be teachable. Don't get in your feelings negatively if somebody puts you on to something or wants to correct you about something. Look into it, brothers and sisters. There's been several times I've gotten emails saying you said this wrong or that was incorrect, and so forth and so on. And you have to make the correction if it's found to be such a case. So, brothers and sisters, let us continue in this particular case. Thank you for that. Scriptural reference. We see here with the laser pointer, ata. This word means now. The way you say now, like right now, is akshao. Now, ata meaning now, N-O-W, right, is not to be confused with ata meaning you. That's a pronoun. All right. So this is an adverb. This now means like at that, or pardon me, at the time. Now, at the time, since then. That kind of now means that. Now, when you're saying as pointed out, like right now, that's the word akshal, which is a different word. So we just want to point that out. Exodus chapter 6, verse 1. Atatir e ashir ese la paro. Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. All right. So we just want to point that out, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. Exodus chapter 6, verse 1, to let the book speak. We want to teach in this particular case a matter of what? Biblical Hebrew. You know what happens when you find yourself not being able to be taught? You lose whom you might want to call your Talmudim or your students. You understand? That right there cannot be what we are to be, brothers and sisters, to our brothers and sisters in this particular case, if we will, right? So, Shalom, see peace, son of wisdom. Shalom, Mora Batsheba. Shalom, my brother Shama Eliezer. My Shalom Kem. How's everybody doing? All right. So now Exodus chapter 6, verse 1. In this case, dealing with what? The matter of ata, meaning you. Pardon me, not meaning you. I stand corrected. Ata meaning now, right? It means now as in now, since, but not as in right now. All right? As in to say akshal. You might also see it as akshayu. All right? So just want to point that out in that particular case. All right? Psalms 121, verse 8, which was, may she rest in peace, one of my mother's favorite citations in the Tanakh. From this time forth and forevermore, me'ata wa'ad olam. All right? Me'ata wa'ad olam. Now, let's point something out, brothers and sisters. All right, with the highlighter. This mem that we see here in this particular case, brothers and sisters, right, is something that means from or of, as we've gone over last week, brothers and sisters, in the Hebrew lesson and so forth. Me'ata wa'ad olam. Now, what does, brothers and sisters, we're going to erase this, and then we're going to highlight for standard purposes. Ad, until. Now, we're going to, brothers and sisters, with a different color, all right, highlight the word olam. And what, brothers and sisters, does the word olam mean? Anybody in the chat, what does the word olam mean? Anybody? It's translated correctly in the verse there, but what is the translation of the word olam? Sidebar. What made me, no disrespect intended, not to sound boastful, not to sound self-centered, what made me want to get into the language is this. Higati lakem. I'll take Ohayalet. I told you not to touch the child. And there is Joseph in Genesis understanding what they're saying. Like, he did tell y'all, didn't he? See, there was a melit or translator between the brothers of Joseph while Joseph is speaking Egyptian or so, and the children of Israel that were there, unbeknown to Joseph's brothers, that there was an Israelite they was talking to. So don't tell me, and I say this in no disrespect intended, don't tell me that language is not important, because it most certainly is. Language is important, brothers and sisters. You understand? So yes, the word olam means, as people have been pointing out, Brother Shama pointed out, as well as the brother Yirmiyahu pointed out, it means forever. Now, when you take that word olam, meaning forever, it also means an undistinguished length of time. So there is another word for ever. It's just the word nitzak. We'll go over that in the future. Nitzak, nitzakim. Eloheinu yimlok. Forever and ever will our king reign. Eloheinu, our God. You understand? So, what are we pointing out? Me'ata, from this time forth, meaning from now, from this point, from this time. So this ata, brothers and sisters, that we're going to, all right, erase this particular part. We want to emphasize this ata matter. Wa'ad, and until an undistinguished length of time, aka forever. So that's what we want to point out, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. All right. Now I'm going to take the liberty, having the book of Psalms with me in the Hebrew, right? And no, we don't do things in the name of the dead, our parents or anyone else, right? But what we want to do, brothers and sisters, is just read Psalms 121 in the Hebrew, if we will. And it says this: Shir lama'alot asher enai el heharim me'ayin yabo ezri. A psalm of ascents. I will lift up my eyes unto the mountains. Me'ayin, from whence yabo ezri will come my help. Ezri, meaning my help, from the word azor, which means help. Which, by the way, if I have the liberty, the brother Shammai Eliezer. Eliezer means literally, my God is a help. So Ezer, which you see in Genesis about a helpmate for a woman, in this particular case, we also know that the Most High, who Eloheinu Ezreinu, our God is our help. But the brother's name Eliezer means my God, Eli Ezer, my God is a help. All right. So just want to point that out. Ezri me'im yod wahe or say hashemayim wa aret. My help is from with the Most High, the maker of heaven and earth. Al yitain lamot ragleka, al yanum shomreka. Hine lo yanum Walo ye shan shomer Yisrael. Behold, he who keepeth thy foot will neither slumber nor sleep. Shomreka, your guardian. Shamar means what? To guard, to watch, to keep, or to observe. Your observer. Earlier today, not getting a proper sleep this week, I dozed off right at that front desk at the job. I hope the supervisor ain't listening, but I dozed off right there. Just go to show you how fallible man can be. Sleeping at the job. The Most High doesn't do that. He doesn't slumber nor sleep. He doesn't try to sit there and say, well, everything's quiet now. I'm going to go to this floor and catch some winks. The Most High doesn't do that. The Most High doesn't take sleeping pills, brothers and sisters. The Most High doesn't have to sit there and take a shot because he lacks sleep. He said in Psalms 50, if you were hungry, he will not tell you because you cannot feed the Most High God. When me and my lady was in Costa Rica last year, I saw what the scriptures is talking about. When it says the cattle upon 1,000 hills. Because coming out of Nostrand and Forster, where what they call Vanderveer or Flatbush Gardens is in Brooklyn, and staying in Brooklyn, not too far from Utica, you don't see the cattle on 1,000 hills. You hope that meat, if you into meat, doesn't have the date changed on it that they got inside of Key Food. So, brothers and sisters, what I'm pointing out in this particular case is this. Let's go on. Yore Wahe Shomerka. Pardon me. Yore Wahe Shomreka. The Most High, He is your guardian. Yore Wahe Zilka Al Yad Yamineka. The Most High, He is the shadow upon your right side. Your mom, Hashemesh, Lo Yakeka, Wayareak Balayla. By day, daily, the sun shall not smite thee, give you a spanking. Neither shall the moon by night. Yore Wahe Gish Mareka, the Most High, He will guard you. Mekolra from all evil. Yishmor et nafshika. He will guard your soul. Nafshika. The ka at the end of that means your. All right? Nafshika from nefesh, which means soul. Yore Wahe Yishmor Zitka Uboeka Me Atawa Ad Olam. The Most High, He will guard thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Who do you think protects you from danger seen and unseen? Do you know, brothers and sisters, that they say if the earth were to move anyway off its natural orbit, if the earth moves, that's a whole other subject, that everything will be burnt up? Who do you think keeps that in that particular case? When you read about Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh Zebaot, translated loosely in English as the Lord of Hosts, His host is this weather we see that's 90-something degrees. His host is when you go into certain climates, like not listening, like I didn't listen in Costa Rica. Oh, I'm in Central America. I can wear my shorts. You're going to want to wear a sweater when you go by the volcano Irazu or Ikazu or whatever it's called there. No, I'm good. I'm in Costa Rica. I can sit there and go in my t-shirt and my shorts. It is cold there. See, you should have listened, Ak. They told you to wear something warmer. So I'm saying all of that to say this, that He who makes it cold or makes it hot is the Most High. He controls those elements. Like He said, who gives the decree upon the Galim, the waves, that it goes not past a certain decree unless He says go over. In 2004, the same year my mother, may she rest in peace, passed away. And she would confirm this if she were alive to hear it and know it. That the Most High and His animals have a closer relationship than we as humans do with our God. We as humans, we drop the ball. We drop the ball as men with our women. We drop the ball with women as with the men. And we drop the ball with parents as with children. This is not to sadden nobody's spirit. but just want to point this out for edification purposes. The Most High did not drop the ball. He stays consistent. He changes not. You understand? From this time forth and forevermore, he is your guardian, and you want that kind of protection. You understand? 1,000 may fall at one side and 10,000 at another, but it shall not come nigh unto you. The arrow that flies by day, nor the terror by night. What is that arrow that flies by day? That could be bullets for all we can say in today's terminology, or the terror that flies by night. That is something that we don't want to be a part of, brothers and sisters, and knowing ourselves as the house of Yisrael. So, brothers and sisters, getting back now into the Hebrew, the word atah that we see, brothers and sisters, in this case means now. Let's go on. The matter with the iron wow verb, get your pens and pads, brothers and sisters. Kumu, how many Israelites? And I'm going to have to ask by typing in the number 2, not 4, but 2, already were familiar with that word kumu. Most camps have been saying it online and offline. Kumu means stand up, rise up. It usually happens when a leader of a place comes or an elder comes and so forth. You rise before the hoary head, Haseba, but I'm Yisrael and the people of Israel. We respect our elders. In slavery, for what it's worth, if you take the validity of the book of Roots written by Alex Haley, right? It says that Kunta noticed that the children were made to respect their elders. I remember, and it's not saying we should not wear our garments. I remember wearing a regular shirt, regular pants, regular boots, and so forth, and getting up and standing up for elders, and people looking like he actually got up. Yeah, there's an elder there. That could be my sabta. Does anybody know what the word sabta means? Type it in the chat. All right. Kumu means rise up, stand up. This is in a command form. The root of such as the word kwam. This word in root is an iron wow verb, and that the second root letter is a wow. Wow is the 6th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. All right. In this case, the wow drops when the verb is conjugated in the past tense. Now, we know conjugation is when you have it as future, present, or past. Now, in the case when an iron wow verb, and we want to show this because this is how they go over Hebrew in certain cases, right? Iron wow is going to be underlined there on the top in the red there, right? That is anytime the wow is the second root word. 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 21. And we're going to show this, brothers and sisters, with what? The laser pointer. Kwamta, wato ka lekem. Thou didst rise and eat bread. Kwamta. We're going to sit there, brothers and sisters, and get into this right here with the highlighter shown in the green. Now, kwamta is when you're speaking to a male. Kwamt is if you were speaking to a female. So we just want to point that out, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes, if we will. All right. So, brothers and sisters, let's continue on in this. Exodus chapter 21, verse 19. If he arise and walks about outside, what does that mean, brothers and sisters? And we're going to show, if we will, with the laser pointer. Im yakum wahit halik bakut. The average Bibles translate this part as saying walks about or abroad. But I wanted to show that the word bakuts, kuts means outside. Bakuts means in the outside or outside. So just want to point that out. Im Yakum. Now, the key word we want to also show, if we will, or the key word to show, brothers and sisters, we're going to show this highlighted in a different color, right? Is in the mustard yellow there. Right? Just want to point that out. So Kwamta is the past. Yakum is the future. If he will arise and walk about outside. All right? Any questions? Please feel free to comment. The matter with the wow in Hebrew. Let's look at this. With Hebrew, this word here, with Hebrew, the meaning is and pass over. We want to point out, and we definitely do want to point this out, brothers and sisters. Get your pens, your pads, and take notes. Thank you all. You could be anywhere else, but you all decided to join us in the presentation tonight. We want to point out that the wow in this word serves as a prefix. Now, what word are we talking about? We're talking about this third word right here. Remember, reading Hebrew always read from right to left. With Hebrew, this is the word we're going over in this case. So this wow, brothers and sisters, serves as a prefix. In Hebrew, the word for and is wa, and is attached to the word it is showing the connection with. In English, we know and is a separate word. So what are we pointing out, brothers and sisters, in this particular case? All right, is the following. And the man. In English, and is a separate word. But in Hebrew, and the man, waha'ish. And a man, wa'ish. That wow sound is part of the word that is connected with. Unlike English, where it says and a man, and is separate from the word man. In Hebrew, it's not in that case. Just want to point that out. Thank you all for commenting within the chat. Thank you for that. All right. The word Hebrew comes from the word abar, meaning to cross over. 1 Kings 18, verse 6. Wa'ikhalchu lahem et haaretz la'abarba. And they divided the land for themselves to pass through it. Now, let's point this out. All right. Highlighter. La abar. Abar meaning what? To pass or to cross over. So that lamed in the beginning, which we're going to show by circling it with the pen, right, serves as a matter of saying to pass. That too, we're going to circle and color code what we're talking about. Any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat. Thank you for that. Now, sidebar in a way. Laser pointer. Waikalakwu. Kalak. To divide. Ket lamekuf. Any questions? Next slide. Scriptural reference to let the book speak. 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 24. Katati ki abarti. I have sinned because I transgressed. Joshua 24, verse 17. Upkol ha'amim asher abarnu b'kwirbam. And in all the peoples which we passed through in their midst. We want to change that just out of respect. All right. Open to constructive criticism. It should say peoples. Now let's continue where we were at, family. Okay. Jeremiah 5, verse 22. Kok olam yo. Kok olam. Walo Ya'ab Renhu, an everlasting ordinance that it will not pass or transgress. Genesis 12, verse 6. Wa Ya'abor Abram, and Abraham, he passed over, he crossed over. Amos 5, verse 17. E'ebor Bakwir Baka, I will pass through the midst of thee. So let us highlight the key word in this that we want to emphasize on. Highlighter. The iron, that bet, that race. That 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 iron, that bet, that race. See how easy Hebrew is. It's not difficult. It's different. Oh, it is different, but it is not difficult. Do not let colleges that teach Hebrew, be it Brooklyn College, LaGuardia, or any other one, try to deter you from learning Hebrew when they say, well, if you don't know any other language, you shouldn't take Hebrew. That's a lie. My teachers in many cases didn't know any other languages, and some of them spoke Hebrew. Some of my teachers were from the islands. So they may have spoken, say, like the Isthmus of Panama, Spanish. And some of them speak Hebrew. They may come from what they call Haiti or Haiti and speak Creole and French and English. Quadlingual, if you will, 4 languages. So don't ever allow anyone to deter you. The thing that I use as an example is this. If you got children and your children are running and they fall, they get right back up like ain't nothing happened. Adults, on the other hand, sometimes like, I don't know. I mean, we read in a book, the righteous fall 7 times and get back up. Check that out. You still called righteous even if you fall. The only way you can fall is if falling in iniquity. Being a person guilty of iniquity doesn't make you iniquitous. Just as much as if you unclean don't mean that you are a product of uncleanliness. There's unclean, then there's uncleanliness. There's iniquity, and then there's iniquitous. There's one who sins, and then there is the kata'ah, the sinner. Hayat harama, the ha here, could care less kind of thing. And even with that, you can still find forgiveness before the Most High. It ain't like where you got to go and confess to people, this, that, or the third, ain't everybody's business. Things that you only know you and the Most High know. That be as such. Somebody asked a question. Would you mind spelling Sabta or Sabta? We might have a different word in mind since no one responded. All right. No, you're right. The word Sabta that you put there, my brother Dora, is grandmother. That's the meaning of the word Sabta. You're absolutely right. You understand? So we do not, brothers and sisters, want to deter any brother or sister from wanting to learn. And I'll tell you this as a Hebrew teacher that people ask questions to. I get emails, I get text, I get a question as in here. Pick your teacher. Bikru o Bakorna. Hamore o Hamora. Ashotohabu. What did I just say? Bikru, choose. Masculine plural, command form. O Bikorna, feminine plural, choose. Hamore, the male teacher, O Hamora, or the female teacher, Ashotohabu, whom you will love. I will tell you as a Hebrew teacher, pick your Hebrew teacher. It will not trying to sound like I don't, quote, need brothers or sisters, because we are in need of each other. But you don't want to sit there and do 2 things when people see you as a moray. You don't want to say something as dumb, and I use the word as in the Hebrew word lafe, meaning stupidity. Say something as dumb like, I don't need this help. You don't want to say that, because when the help goes somewhere else, then what? That's not a nice thing or welcoming thing to say. And you don't want to also say, I'm the only one you can rely on. No, you're not. The Most High told Elijah there's 7,000 that didn't bow down to Baal. Sad number of Israel that didn't do that idolatry, knowing there's millions of Israelites. Less than 10,000 didn't sit there and bow down into that. But brothers and sisters, to get back into what we're talking about in this particular point here, pick your teacher. If it's me, I feel appreciated. You understand? Comment, like, subscribe to the channel, leave a text, if you will. My number 908-587-4841. I'm open to constructive criticism. Somebody told me, I'm not going to mention who, that when I do the PowerPoints, that sometimes the words are too small on the slides and they can't be seen. But the person, my brother, didn't want to say it in front of other people. That's not how we do in Israel. And there's no offense to the brother who, speaking as man to man, didn't want to put another brother on the spot. But if you calling yourself a moray and you can't be approached to be taught and put on, when someone is saying, brother, I can't see the font because it's too small, that means he or she respects you and wants to see the work you put in. So how you going to, for the lack of a better term, diss that person? You can't do that. Don't you know that we are oppressed? Like Leviticus 26 says, the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And in being eaten up in the land of our enemies, what makes anybody think we want to go through the same thing with our own? Well, if it was the nation, you'll have more patience. But if two people are oppressed, they're not going to be as tolerant of it from one another, because you should know the heart of your brother or sister in this place already. But now, let's get back into this, if we will. Abba, seen in this particular portion here. And we're going to go back to the beginning of it and highlight what we're talking about in this particular case here. All right. Let's go on, brothers and sisters. Any questions, please do not hesitate. Lakem from Etkem. Lakem, this word is Lakem. It means for you all. This is a masculine plural word. Now in Hebrew, masculine plural can be all male or male and female. If it's all female, it's just that, or female. All right? Just want to point that out. Let's continue on. The lamed in this word means to, for, in regard to. The kem in this word is an abbreviation of the word et kem, meaning you all. So let's look at this, right? And let's go back here, if we will. Erase the ink on this. And we're going to look at this word lakem. We might be familiar with it already. Shalom lakem. And so forth, right? So let's look, family, in this particular case. Right? Lakem. The lamed in this word means to, for, or regard to. Now remember, brothers and sisters, this is why we ask you all to, and I don't mean no offense when I say pay attention. You're not children. In most cases, I would take that most of us are adults. But when I say pay attention, I'm not trying to demean anyone or berate or disrespect or make anyone feel that, you know, oh, so forth. Like, I don't call you all students. Like, no, some of y'all older than me. And I know because I know some of y'all off the internet. And I know you're older than me. So I personally have a problem with calling people older than me my student. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. If you have a child that's my age, and I'm only 43. Now, my aunt in Tennessee, when I said I'm getting older, and I mean, when I say they laughed, they laughed. But my point, nonetheless, is they're in their 70s and like 80s. But it's like, if you got a child that's already grown, I have a problem calling you my student. You're still my elder. I'm your helper. But brothers and sisters, let's look at this right here, right? We want to show the lamed case here. Highlighter. The lamed here, meaning to. We already went over that. Abar means pass or cross through, right? So this abar, la abar, to pass through. La abar ba, to pass through it. Now, this ba is feminine. This is not to get off the other slide, but I just want to point this out. This ba that you see there with the hey, with that dot, some refer to, correct me if I'm wrong, as a dagish in it, is a feminine word. Why? Because the word aretz, meaning earth, is feminine. In Hebrew thought, earth is a feminine principle. So, brothers and sisters, in Egyptian thought, earth is a masculine principle. So, this is not to get off the point of the lesson, but when you go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, when the Most High said that the Most High has taken away the wisdom of the wise men of Egypt and have made the princes of Nophatapanhes and of the people of Memphis and their wise men become fools in Isaiah 19. Anybody who knows anything about male and female principles knows that earth cannot be a male principle like Egyptian culture had. This is not a knock on Egypt. It's more so of a praise of the Hebrew culture. So this ba in the feminine, aretz, meaning earth, is a feminine principle in Hebraic thought. You put seed in the earth and you get whatever that seed is. You don't get the earth itself. So you are whatever your father who has the seed is. That's how that works. Brothers and sisters, this is no knock on the feminine principle. It is needed in Hebraic thought, as we pointed out last week. Without the letter hey, which is a feminine letter, you can't have the language itself. It's like the thumb of the Hebrew alphabet. All right. So anyway, now getting back, brothers and sisters, into this particular point right here, right? Lakem, Lamed, Lakem. 2-4 in regard to. Just as much as we pointed out, this Lamed meaning to pass through, right? Sorry about that. The kem in this word is an abbreviation of the word etkem, meaning you all. That's an object pronoun. Now, I'm going to take the liberty and type this in the chat, family. Please get your pen and pad. All right. And I'm going to type this into the chat. Please get your pen and pad. All right. Thank you for that, family. We'll see why. The prepositions. To me, Lee. To you, Laka. To you, feminine, Lak. To him, Lo. To her, La. To us, Lanu. To you all, Lakem. Then we just go over Lakem right here, brothers and sisters. That's a preposition if we were to use it in English colloquial terms. To you, Lakem. To you, feminine plural, Laken. To them, Lahem. To them, feminine plural, Lahen. I'm going to leave that there for a second so you can take a screenshot and study it. And when this is uploaded, you can pause it at this point, your decision, and copy that down. How to say to me, to you feminine, to him, to her, to us, to you, masculine plural, to you, feminine plural, to them, masculine plural, and to them, feminine plural. Any questions concerning this? Please let me know. All right. If you wanted a screenshot, it was already left up there, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful in saying that. All right. Study that because that's how you're going to be able to have conversations. Simple things like that. The object pronouns. Let's go into this. Me, OT. You, OTKA, masculine. You, OTAK, feminine. Him, Oto. Her, Otah. Us, Otanu. I know a brother named Otanu. An Israelite brother. I know a brother named Otanu. Much respect to him if he's able to hear this, and much respect to him if he's not hearing this. You all, Etkem. We went over that. you all, feminine, et ken, them, otam, them feminine, otan. So let's look at this. The object pronouns. These are the pronouns that you put, brothers and sisters, at the end of a sentence. I'm going to take the liberty and type that in the chat, brothers and sisters. All right? These are the object pronouns. They go at the end of a sentence, regardless of how long the sentence is. So, what are we pointing out, brothers and sisters, in this particular case here? All right. You have, he sees, hu ro'e. He sees me, hu ro'e oti. He sees you, hu ro'e otka. So these are the pronouns that go at the end. Hu ro'e otanu. He sees us. Hu ro'e otam. He sees them. You might be familiar with the word la'asotam, meaning in Hebrew to do them, in speaking about the laws. Hakukwin wahamishpatim. Wahamitzvot. Now, mitzvah is command or commandment. Mitzvot is the plural of it. It's a feminine plural. But when you're speaking about the laws, statutes, commandments, statutes is kukwin. And ordinances is mishmaret. I got almost confused with another word. Almost got confused with the word masara tutin, which is the Hebrew word for rags, like when you wash or something. But let's get into this object pronouns. These are the pronouns, again, that you put at the end. All right? Me, you, him, her, us, you, or them. You wouldn't use them at the beginning of a sentence. You wouldn't use us at the beginning of a sentence. It's like that movie that's on Netflix, When They See Us. Ki yir'u otanu. That's how you would say that in Hebrew. Ki yir'u otanu. I'm going to take the liberty, brothers and sisters, and go here, right? I'm not going to do it in the Hebrew part with the time allotted. Ki yir'u otanu. When they see us, or when they will see us. Now, you just see right here that otanu, as we pointed out, brothers and sisters, right here. We're going to go to slideshow, trying to show something in that case. Otanu, us. Here, when they see us. Ki yir'u otanu. See how a sentence was just created? But you use these particular pronouns at the end of the sentence. Any questions? Please feel free to comment and type it in the chat. All right, next slide, please. The matter of nakal and nakala. Get your pens, get your pads, get your paper. Nakal, stream or river. This is a noun. Nakal, to inherit, to inquire. This is a verb. In the verse, we see the noun is used. And by that, we're talking about Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 13, which we see, brothers and sisters, highlighter, nakal. This is not the verb. This is the noun. Nakal. This is not the verb. This is the noun. All right, family? Let's look. In the verse, we see the noun is used. Nakala, an inheritance. This is the noun. Deuteronomy 32, verse 9. Jacob, the lot of his inheritance. Yaakov. Hebel, nakalato. Nakalato, his inheritance. That's right there from the scriptures itself. As pointed out in showing a feminine noun in possession, the hay becomes a towel. Brothers and sisters, again, and I say this and not trying to be funny, get your pens, your pads, your paper and take notes. We're going over Hebrew grammar from a biblical perspective. I remember, and it's not about being racial or racist even. I was on the 3 train, for those who do know. When it gets past Franklin, you usually only see Jewish people and black people. My phone fell. And no, I didn't make it fall on purpose to get attention. My phone fell. And these Jewish girls picked up my phone. And having already heard them speak in Hebrew, I said, Toda Rabbah. And they just look like, And it's, again, not trying to sound boastful or nothing like that. You speak Hebrew? Cain, medaber ani Ibri. Yes, I speak Hebrew. Oh, you speak Hebrew so clear and so, but see, and I didn't want to be offensive, but you don't speak clear. When they speak, it's not clear. Why do you think perhaps the Israelite community, brothers and sisters, is used in Damona for translations? Because they need the house of Israel in order to get thoughts across. A lot of the community people in Damona and Rizpah Ramon in the land of Israel, they serve as translators. Because when these other nations speak it, they don't speak clearly. No offense to anyone. But let's go on into this. Nakala, inheritance. Nakalato, his inheritance. The hay and towel matter. Isha. What does Isha mean? I left these words without the English in part. What does the word Isha mean? I am not translating that. If there's not one brother or sister who can sit there and translate in the chat what the word Isha means, that means Mora Yeshaya has dropped the ball again. I'll take the L on that one. I'll take the fault on that one. If there's not one person in here, thank you for that. Everybody's right. Woman, wife, woman. Thank you. Brother Dora, Adonia, Kanan, and my lady Sarai. Yes, all of y'all right. That's what it means. Eshet means wife of. So let me highlight what I'm emphasizing on in this case, brothers and sisters. Right? You see that hay? It becomes that towel. Isha, wife. Eshet, wife of. No knock on Dawid, whom my shoes I cannot tie. You see that word Eshet when it speaks about Bathsheba. When it says, who is she? He Eshet Uriah Hakiti. She's the wife of Uriah the Hittite. You see that word there in that case. Just wanted to point that out. Ritzpah. What does that word mean? Now, for those who's on Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, I went over that word in Hebrew lesson number 7, which is way back when, some years ago, but it's on the channel. What does the word ritzpah mean? Anybody? And we're going to keep on highlighting the hay and towel matter. But I'm going to ask the family in the chat, what does the word ritzpah mean? Anybody? Ritzpah. Anybody want to give it a shot? Okay. Thank you, my love, Sarai. The word for widow is the word almana. Thank you, brother Dora. The word ritzpah means foundation or pavement or floor. No problem, love, when you say a mistake. Not a problem at all. Hebrew, as people will point out, is not part of something that we have to have, but we can have. So you'll be surprised how many times teachers speak and even make a mistake. You know, even in just conversing, whether it be the tense, the past tense, the future tense, or the gender, or so forth and so on. All right? So ritzpah means floor or foundation. So ritzpat means foundation or floor of. Now, the last word we see here is tikra. Anybody want to give that word a translation? What does the word tikra mean? Anybody? Again, we're going to highlight that hay and towel matter. How Isha becomes Eshet, Ritzpah becomes Ritzpat, and Tikra becomes Tikrat. Anybody want to give that a shot on what the meaning of the word Tikra is? Thank you for that, my brother Yirmiyahu. Sealing. The word Tikra means sealing. Tikrat, sealing of. So just want to point that out for reference purposes. All right? Just want to point that out for reference purposes. We are Mishpachah, family. Let us be such. The Na'abor matter. Wana'abor, this word is Wana'abor, and it means, and we passed over. As noted, this word follows the while consecutive, in which in biblical Hebrew, a normal future tense word is translated in the past tense, and a normal past tense word is translated in the future. This is done by the prefix of the letter while. Now, this is where, brothers and sisters, we want to look at that, and we want to show the while being highlighted in here. And we're going to go back to the beginning, brothers and sisters. Right? Wow. As a matter of fact, let me do it this way and erase all the ink on that so it stands out. Now, Na'abor, brothers and sisters, the word that we see here, right? And I'm going to show this with the red underline, means we will pass over. But with that while there, biblical Hebrew, it changes that normal future tense word to the past tense. The noon in this word serves as a prefix from the root abar, meaning to cross over. This noon, brothers and sisters, serves as a prefix. All right? See, this is where one's ego doesn't have to be there, if you want to put it in terms like that, because I made a mistake, right? The noon in this word serves as a prefix in, not from, because the noon don't come from the word abar, but in that word, you see that. So I just want to point that out. All right? So don't be afraid of making a mistake, brothers and sisters. All right? So let's continue on. Thus, Na'abor means we will pass over. However, since the while in there is normally future tense, the word is translated to the past tense. All right, conclusion. Shalom. Giving honor and praise to the creator of heaven and earth. We hope and pray you all learned from this presentation and enjoyed it. We are open to constructive criticism. We ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To the people who subscribed, commented, and shared, it is appreciated. There would have been in the morning and afternoon more presentations. However, there will not be until this coming so-called Sunday. this Sabbath during the light part. No, I don't think that the Shabbat comes in when the sun comes up. I'm not on that. What I'm saying, family, is there will be on no channel that a brother conducts during the later part or the beginning part of the day part of the Shabbat any lessons. The next lesson will be on so-called Sunday, Yom Rishon, on Moreh Yeshaya history lessons about secular history, but that's a whole other subject. All right, so I just wanted to show and point that out in that case. Thank you all and have a good evening and a good night. All right. So, anybody have any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Anybody have any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat, brothers and sisters. All right. To the people who subscribe. Wow, I made a couple of typos. Don't be afraid to sit there and say, oops, my bad, and so forth. You know, we're all human. So just want to point that out. So shalom, see peace and the wisdom. Shalom, morabat sheba. Shalom, Yirmiyahu Yisrael. Shalom, Chief Shama Eliezer. Shalom, my love Sarah Mekela Yisrael. Shalom, Ben Dora. Shalom, Adonia, Hanania Yehuda. Shalom, everybody else in the chat, now or later, whom I forgot. And of course, Imam Marcia. Thank you all. Again, we hope everybody is well and will be better. Shalom. See, is the Hebrew that the New Testament can speak legit? I'm going to have to, not trying to be funny, but give a double answer. Brother, every brother or sister who subscribe to the New Testament haven't even been around some in the South or anywhere else. All of them don't speak what they refer to as Lashon Kodash. And there are some Old Testament based Israelites who speak Shalom, Barakatah, Yashra'Allah. So that's not only One West or those who are subscribing in many cases to the New Testament. And I don't believe and subscribe to the New Testament as those who do know as doctrine and par with the Torah of the Lords of the Most High. Nonetheless, if that's what you're talking about, I want to be fair and speak and say that there are Old Testament Tanakh Israelites that will tell you Shalom, that will tell you Yashra'Allah. And there are those who do subscribe to the New Testament that will say Shalom in Yisrael. So I just want to point that out in that particular case. Because Hebrew has sound, there has to be vowels. A vowel is a sound that is written, just as much as a letter is a consonant that is written. So just want to point that out. And of course, most I bless you too, my love Sarai. Everybody have a good night. Thank you all for subscribing to the channel as asked. And if you didn't, please do so, brothers and sisters. All right. The broadcast ends now. Again. Right. I had someone tell me I was speaking Yiddish. All right. I very rarely would have to do this, or very rarely would do this. But in the New Testament, when you read, for instance, in it, there's a part that says Eli Eli lama sabachthani, which is translated as saying, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? So if some say that Hebrew Aki Yirmiyahu, that Hebrew with vowels is Yiddish, there's two videos on the channel. The Hebrew we speak is not Yiddish. All right. In that particular case. So modern Hebrew is not Yiddish. The way we say mother, how Aki Yirmiyahu, let me ask you this. How you say mother in Hebrew? To show a difference in that particular case. How do you say mother in Hebrew, brother? Now you're saying Ima is mother, and I don't mean no disrespect, my brother. What if I told you, brother, that Ima is mommy and Aim is mother? That you see in Ezekiel chapter 23, the daughters of one mother. Aim is mother. Ima, though we still saying of our mom, means more so mommy. It's more of an appellation with the I at the end. Like Ab is father, and Abba means like daddy in that particular case in the language. Just as much as when the ark in the book of Numbers, right? And hopefully we're not going far, but when the ark was lifted up in the book of Numbers, the prophet Moshe said, what? Kuma Yehovah. Now we just went over Kum, which means rise up. But when the ark was taken up, it says Kumaya. Kuma is an appellation, like you're trying to say, rise, please. So Ima is more so like mother, please, aka mommy. Like Ab is father, but Abba is more so like daddy. Now, Mutar is the Yiddish word for mother. So Ima, which some might say, oh, that is you're speaking Yiddish. No, the Yiddish word for mother is Mutar. How you say brother in Hebrew. Anybody, type that in the chat with the time allotted. Thank you. How do you say brother in Hebrew? And you typed in the word Ak. The brother Dora typed it in Hebrew. Bruda is brother in Yiddish. Those words don't even sound alike. Elohim is how you say God in Hebrew. I'm not even going to tell you how you say God in Yiddish. And it's not Elohim. So, looking at things such as mother, brother, and there's a couple of other things too. Like the Hebrew word for son is what? Kama. That's how you know the word kam means warm or hot, like ham. Hot, Africa, calm, warm, hot, S-U-N. Dizun is the Yiddish word for son. So the matter that anyone's saying when you or I is speaking, because I was told the same thing too. Oh, somebody told me I'm teaching Yiddish. I'm like, no, that means that somebody didn't study to sit there and say that the Hebrew we speak and talk is Yiddish. You understand? Study Hebrew, study Yiddish. And there's a video, and I hate to have to be on a race matter. There's a video where a white girl, a Jewish girl, actually sat there and broke it down perfectly. Because sometimes melanated people, black folk, don't want to hear it from us, even if they wear fringes. But I'm going to say shalom, and everybody have a good night. Take care. We'll meet up again. Subscribe to the channel. Shalom.